SOSers.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to another great show.
What up, beautifuls?
Yeah, relevant. Great
Beautifuls?
transition. Yes, that worked.
It would have been better if I said beauties, maybe.
Oh, beauties.
Hi, beauties. Hi, sisters. Do you know James Charles?
So, no, who's that?
Never mind.
I don't know.
We're moving on.
Okay, so today we have a beautiful episode, an important topic, I believe, which is, so we're talking about the depth of beauty and how it's actually the spiritual depth of beauty rituals and what that is, and also examining society's view on beauty rituals, or at least our Western society's view on beauty rituals being shallow or vain, and what they actually represent, because it's since the beginning of time in all cultures that have been studied, beauty rituals exist. So there's something to it, and it's very deep spiritually for our species. So today's guest is a very close friend of mine. She owns her own beauty club, the Haven Beauty Club in Los Angeles. They provide lashes, they provide waxing, facials, massage, spray tan, nails.
Everything. Therapy.
Yeah, therapy, yes, while you're there. Everything. And so she is here to talk to us. Her name is Jaylee Orpiano. And I would just like to dive right into it with her.
And if you stay tuned,
Yes.
you will get a special treat. So you're going to want to not ever leave.
Yeah, you're going to want to not listen to this.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get a special discount at the end. And she is going in with the codes for SOS listeners. So
yeah,
stay tuned. Welcome, Jaylee, to SOS. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
For virtually.
This is so exciting.
I'm so excited that you're here.
Me too.
So Jaylee is the owner, founder, CEO, boss bitch at the Haven Beauty Club. And I have known you, 4 years, 5 years?
More towards 5-6 years, because the business has been open for 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bond. That's a bond.
Yeah, I literally found her. I found her business on Yelp one day, and you had just opened, so it was like new member deals and stuff. And I was like, oh, sweet. And it was right downtown.
Right.
And since then, she's moved to 2 other spaces and expanded. And the services that it's so fun, because I've heard you talk about, when I first met you and you were like, yeah, my dream for, because it was LA Vogue, LA Lash Bar. And then you're like, I have a dream of the Haven Beauty Club. And it's like this oasis where women can come and get all of their services done at one place. And it's like this environment, you just described this whole world, and I'm watching it grow over the years and turn into that. Yeah.
Exactly. It's so funny, Molly, because you were one of the first clients ever that we've had. And so I found ourselves grandfathering the prices from back then till now. It's so funny. You've literally watched us evolve. And thank you so much for supporting us.
My gosh.
I really appreciate you.
Of course.
You're one of the best clients ever.
Yes. It's fun because I go and then we have an hour or more, and we're just, it's a built-in hour of catch-up time with this person that you can't not grow close, because you're just
right.
We know
for 5
everything
years?
about each. Yeah. every 2 weeks for 5 years, an hour or so. And then we're just all these phases of our life. But I really, really wanted to have you on, because this conversation about the spiritual depth within beauty rituals that are, they vary from culture to culture, but across cultures, that's always been a thing, and why they shouldn't be dismissed as vain or superficial, because we have this kind of weird double standard in society where we are expected to upkeep a certain standard of beauty. So it's you have to reach these standards, but you can't look like you tried. And if you do too much, it's vain, or, I'm speaking mostly for women, but I know it applies all across the board. But it's just so I'm supposed to be perfectly groomed, but I can't, but
natural,
but also natural, but also for me, it's a source of self-expression and joy, as opposed to trying to cover things up, because there's different angles to come at beauty with, but
Right.
I think that like when it's a source of joy and it's for yourself and it's creative expression, there is a real like thing it does for your spirit that you and I talk about all the time, Jaylee, that like, you see with women all the
100%.
time. And then, you know, it's easy for people to look on the surface and be like, will you just provide? I mean, you do nails or you do lashes or you do brows and like good for you. But the effect
That
that
would
it has,
be easy.
Right. You
That
also
would be
play
so
therapist.
easy if it was just that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to start by asking like the moment, kind of like your SOS moment when it came to you realizing that this was your calling or what your calling was.
Okay, so where to begin, really? So
Hmm.
I grew up in an environment where, you know, beauty services and beauty products weren't really available to us because I come from a tiny island in the Pacific, in Micronesia, called Saipan. But my mother, no matter what, always had a beauty routine. And this is where it all started, actually, because my mother was a young entrepreneur in her 20s, teamed up with my father, and young entrepreneurs, young parents in a different country. And there were a lot of days where she was not okay. And you could see that as a child. But like clockwork, at night, she would be in her little section in her bedroom in front of the mirror doing her beauty routine. And she could have the worst day ever. She could have tears in her eyes, but she will still be putting on that moisturizer. And what I found about that moment is that the show must go on for her. It's kind of like a moment where she comes back into balance, and it's the one thing that she can control. Her whole world is upside down, but it's the one thing that she can control. There are also other times when she would be in such an upset mood, and then all of a sudden she would disappear. You can't contact her. You would have to call all the salons in Saipan to find her. She would come back with a whole new hairstyle and be in a better mood.
Yeah.
Right? So
We love her.
that's right. That's what I observed, is that this whole beauty routine, one, keeps her, you know, keeps the show going for her. It's the one thing that she can control. It's
and
also
that she
this
has that like
mood
time
lifter.
for herself. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a mood lifter. And another thing I observed too is that when there's a difference between women with a beauty routine and women who don't have a beauty routine. And I find that the women without a beauty routine are usually the ones, this is just my observation, okay? No judgment, but I find that they are the ones who have the time to look at the woman with a beauty routine and observe her or judge her.
Yeah.
You know, and they were less confident. They were less consumed about themselves and consumed about the woman who has a beauty routine.
Yes. That's an interesting observation because it often takes like an undertone of a moral high ground sometimes where it's like, well, I don't concern myself with those things, or I don't, you know,
That's unfortunate.
I know. Well, and I understand like for some people that type of routine doesn't speak to you, and you don't take solace or joy in that, and that's fine. But what you're speaking to is what really bothers me. It doesn't bother me if people don't have a beauty routine. Like if that doesn't speak to you and you do something else, cool. I know it doesn't bother you either. But what does bother me is the judgment placed on people who do these things and then calling those things vain or superficial or selfish, or even not even naming it, but like that silently in their mind, just like judging, like, oh, you have to take time to get ready.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
the patriarchy, baby. That's misogyny. You know, there's so much mixed messaging about, you know, we were just talking about like what is natural, what isn't natural, what, you know, what is the extent of anti-aging in this country, like all of that. To look at another woman who gets Botox or fillers or whatever, and then like immediately go right to she doesn't have her life together,
right?
Is like insanity. You know what I mean? Like she's blessed, she has money, but it's like, you know, we have to support each other because we have no idea what's going on in our heads and our hearts, and why, you know, what we're doing is we're fully in control of it, and that's okay, and it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Yeah, and like
the sad thing is this was years ago. This was when I was, what, 8, 7 years old, and it still is relevant today.
Yeah.
It's still happening today for some reason. And I guess it's probably a lack of awareness.
Yeah, I think so. And I also think it's ironic that, at least in Western cultures, we can look at other like faraway lands and exotic cultures to us, and their beauty routines seem really, they're just cool and they're editorial. And like, there's women in Africa who put that red clay in their hair. And it's like it covers like all their dreads, and it just looks like it's a beauty routine for them. And here, people appreciate photographs of it. Oh, it's so cultural. Oh, it's so, and they appreciate the whatever. They think it's like cultured and cool to see it from another country. But our beauty routines here, we tend to look at them sometimes as just like, that's just superficial and stupid.
Right.
And I say we broadly, because like our society, there's a lot of double standards, and a lot of people don't feel that way. But that's the issue that you and I have talked about, Jaylee, of just like, why do people think that? I think what happens is people misunderstand having a beauty routine for trying to change yourself and trying to cover things up,
or doing it for men.
Yeah, or doing it for men, and like those are all reasons that some people do things. Of course, I've put on makeup to cover a pimple, but like at the end of the day, I also will have a whole day at home to myself, not leave the house once, and at 3 p.m. I might walk in the bathroom and be like, huh, and put on some lipstick and walk around the house for the rest of the day. Like, it's literally just
it's
self-expression. Yeah, it's beautiful.
What do you want to feel that day?
Yeah.
A red lip. Perfect.
Exactly.
Shut it down. Shut it down. Walking around the bedroom with the red lip.
I wonder, like, what are like common things that you hear from your clients before and after services at Haven? Like, what are things that they come in with, and do they feel like a sense of, that sense of control that we talked about, more autonomy and confidence?
Oh, absolutely. So, first of all, the women that come to the Haven Beauty Club, they come from all different walks of life. They come from different industry, different economic brackets. We can have the super sophisticated client, and we can have our ratchet clients, and we love all of them, but the common denominator for what they come for is a solution. People think that they come for, I'm just going to they're just coming for their nails, or they're coming to get their lashes done. But it's actually to solve something that they're uncomfortable with, right? So let's zoom into eyelash extensions, because that's something that we specialize in. And a client comes in, and the first thing we do is we do a consultation. We ask them about what their goals are. And it usually starts off with, I hate my lashes. They're so short. It's so sparse. Why do men have lashes? And they're so full. It's so unfair. It's the same story all the time. And their goals are to improve that. Let's put some volume. Let's put some length. And so they come in less confident. They come in need of something. And when we do our job and we do it right, they open their eyes, and it's like this magical moment of, oh my gosh, you've solved my problems. Oh my gosh, I am so much more confident now. So I feel like each client comes in for the same thing, and they leave with something. Hopefully 99.9% of the time they're leaving a happy customer. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's like that moment of, because what's really changing, and it depending on the service that you do, it's not like they walk out on the street and someone who just saw them would be like, whoa, that's a huge change. Like maybe you can see the difference in, obviously, like lash extensions or whatever, but what you are doing is changing how they see themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So people think that I'm in the beauty service industry, but really I'm in the confidence building industry, and I use beauty services as tools to achieve confidence for my clients. That's just what it is. And, you know, when people come in, I always let my team know and my receptionist know that our job isn't to sell packages or to make sure that we close the deal. It's to make sure that our clients come in and leave with a bigger smile than when they walked in.
Yeah.
And they, you know, feel a lot more confident. That's our goal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what kind of answers the next question, which I was going to ask was, like, what's the deeper spiritual meaning that you find in the work that you do, both for yourself and for clients? And that answers it, because it's just kind of like, it's something that it's how you want to feel. And yeah, we are given these bodies in this life. And so you can decorate it and you can express yourself through it. And that's like, it's just like getting dressed every day. You know, it's like, why is there such a negative connotation sometimes of like intentionally choosing what you wear? Like, I think you're right, Alyssa, about like the patriarchy too, of just having women, there's pressure to like look a certain way, but not look like you tried. And then be the cool girl that doesn't need any time to get ready and just like, but also look a certain way. Or it's just like,
right.
Come on, like just be, I don't know. It's the freedom to be. And then if today I feel like what resonates most with me is wearing sweats and no makeup, great. And tomorrow, if I do a full face and run one errand, great, you know?
Sure. Yeah, exactly. But to go back to your question about the whole spiritual aspect of being in this industry, it's a huge responsibility for people like me and for my team. You know, we have the opportunity to enhance a woman. Right? She comes to us with a problem, quote unquote problem. And it is our job to help her get to the point where, you know, to get to her goals. So it's a lot deeper than what people think. Every time I have someone come on board or, you know, interview people, I always ask one question: do you care? And they ask, what do you mean? Like, care about what? And I was like, do you in general just care? I just need you to care, because you can't pay people to care.
Right.
And what happens with this team, exactly.
Do you care?
With this team, I care too much, okay?
Same.
So with this team, you know, it's also from this aspect of the Haven Beauty Club is that our team develops character. The ability to have compassion, to put ourselves aside for someone else's gain, you know, and to have the compassion to really be meticulous and take the time to give a shit to make sure that she leaves smiling.
Yeah. And you actually listen to her vision for what she wants, as opposed
her
to
preference, right?
Like imposing what you think, what nails you like to do, or what lashes you think look good. Or like if someone comes in and they want nails like 6 inches long and they can't wipe their own butt, great. If that makes you feel like a queen, then
when there's a will, there's a way.
And then if you, like so many times, and that's one thing I definitely know about you, is that you are not, of course you'll be like, oh, we offer this and this and give the options, but like you never try to talk people into a different standard of beauty that they aren't. Like, you're not selling, you're not forcing people into a standard of beauty. You're just there to be like, what would make you feel better about yourself? We can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's the reason.
No, please.
And that's the reason why we kind of overkill with our consultations. A lot of people that I have, that I hire, they always say things like, oh my gosh, this is so much. Like, you have us doing so much. And I was like, yes, because we need to care.
Yeah.
The reason why we ask all these questions is because we need to customize this specifically to her preferences, because she's the one who needs to be leaving happy.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and it's her body and it's her way of expressing herself. And you guys are the ones that help bring that to life. Yeah.
Exactly.
What I love about it too, it's just it's so empowering to think about, you know, going somewhere and knowing what you want, knowing what's going to make you feel more feminine, you know? And in a society that tells us that femininity is like weaker. It's lame. It's stupid. It's vain. It's superficial. Like actually doing something about it and getting those lashes and like getting your nails, you know, that is a fucking rebellion, and it's badass.
Exactly.
But like, why do you think like society has kind of labeled the beauty industry vain and superficial? Because like I remember going to school, you know, I'm an actor. I went to an acting school, and like my teachers would pull me to the side. I'd do so much work. I'd prepare. I love what I do. And a teacher, and they were women. Well, one, I'll talk about one specifically, and she's just like, you just care too much about your looks. Because I would wear makeup to class. I would just wear, I would just like concealer and like,
are you
lip
serious?
gloss. Like, it wasn't even crazy. This is like the mid 2000s. Like, and maybe a little bit of eyeliner. And I'm just like, you don't know me at all. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
Also, I'm an actress.
Yeah, this is kind of our industry, babe.
Yeah. Like,
where are we?
Like, women tearing other women down.
It was horrible. It was a horrible time.
And actually labeling it as vanity or superficial. Well, here's what I think about that. I think that society that says that beauty treatments and taking care of yourself is vanity or superficial, I think they are looking at it from a very superficial standpoint because that's surface deep. All right. This is all you see. But if you take the time to look deeper as to what these beauty services do and what the little makeup that she's putting on does for her self-esteem and for her confidence, then you wouldn't really think that it's superficial. It's necessary. Yeah. Right? It then becomes necessary for her, if she feels like it's necessary to put the red lipstick on before she leaves because she won't walk without it, then like, let her put it on.
It's like war paint sometimes. It's like,
exactly.
I think I don't know if I've told this on the podcast, but my uncle told me this story. He was babysitting me when I was really little. And I think I was like 4, and I had just gotten a new dress that day. And I don't remember this, but he told me this. He told me this when I was in my 20s. And I was so grateful he told me, because I was like, this is exactly how I still am. And to hear it validated from like my 4-year-old self was really cool, because, and it is exactly what we're talking about. I had gotten a new dress that day, and then he was babysitting me that night, and I wanted to paint. And he was like, yeah, you can paint, like, but you're gonna have to put a paint shirt on. And I wanted to wear my new dress, and he knew that mom and dad had just bought it for me, and he didn't want it to get dirty. And he's like, I don't know. I don't think you can wear your new dress because it's new. And like, I don't want, you should put your paint shirt on. And he said that I like started bawling. I threw a fit, and he said, he's a really like emotional, like deep thinker. And he's like, I realized, Molly, I was like watching how upset you got. You didn't even want to paint anymore. And he's like, and then I realized, he's like, then I realized it's not, she doesn't just want to paint. For her, it's about like being that artist and like, like being the artist. Did it stop?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
It looked like it did. Sorry.
No, but he was like, well, for you, it was just about being an artist. And to embody that, you had to wear that dress that you wanted to be painting in. That's the artist you wanted to be. You didn't want to paint in a paint shirt. And it was like funny, and it made me laugh, but I was also like, that's exactly what it is. Like, sometimes I'll be working on music, and then I'm not really in the zone, and then I'll just change my outfit and sit back down at my keyboard.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. It changes your whole perspective.
It
changes your whole mood.
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Yes.
Oh, God.
And then so what is your vision for the Haven overall in the future?
Right. So you already know what our mission is. Basically, we try to make sure that women leave more confident. What I like to say that the Haven Beauty Club does is that, we change the world one woman at a time in the most humble way possible, right? So it's because what happens is when a woman leaves happier from the Haven Beauty Club, she goes and she affects her husband, and then she affects her children, and then she affects her coworkers and her employees or whoever. And so we have a direct impact in the world based on what we do to this one woman, right? So we've done a great job so far, ladies, with the 6 years that we've been in business.
Exactly.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Right.
Congratulations for that too. It's like,
Thank
it's
you.
incredible.
Through the pandemic,
It's good intentions,
and everything.
honestly. That's what it is. It's good intentions. And so the goal is, you know, we've been able to do that in downtown Los Angeles for the past 6 years. And the goal is to reach as many women as possible. So to grow and to have that kind of reach means we want to try to do, you know, different locations in different cities, states, worldwide even, you know, because it's not only going to affect the women in that city or in that, you know, in that country or wherever the Haven Beauty Club is, but it also will affect the people who are part of that team. We're not just building confidence for people who walk through those doors, but it's also for the people who are in those doors. We help them build character. We help them build compassion and understanding for other women. And to not only have that in the shop, but also to bring that kind of energy outside of the shop, we're just impacting everyone at this point, right? So that's the goal in the future. for the
It's a
Haven Beauty
ripple. It's a
Club.
domino effect. It's a domino effect of how powerful confidence can be, how powerful knowing yourself and knowing how you want to express yourself.
And I really like how you said, you know, what you would say to people who say it's vain or superficial and say, well, you're looking at it in a very superficial way because
unevolved.
Yeah, it is, because it's just like, it's not about, even I know, like, I love getting my nails done. It's not about my actual nails. You know how many times I'm walking down the street, no one can see my nails. It's how I feel with my nails done, and how I feel you can see when you're walking past me on the street, even if you can't see my nails.
But tell me, is there anything better when another woman compliments you?
I know.
Like, there's nothing better when they're like, oh my God, your nails, or like, oh my God, where'd you get that? Or, oh my God, your highlights are amazing. Like,
I know, right?
It's the best.
It is really fun. How would you recommend, so if there are people listening who don't really have a beauty ritual, but they're interested, it's just like, I just don't know where to start. I don't know what would speak to me. And they're kind of battling in their own mind of like, does this make, if they've never had a history in beauty at all, and then it's kind of like, where do I start? It's intimidating, or like, does this make me shallow, or, you know, what would
Less of a woman, you know?
Yeah. What would your advice be to them?
Well, first of all, you know, taking pride in one's appearance I don't consider that vanity. And that's just me. What I consider it as appreciation for oneself, right? Taking care of yourself shows that you love yourself. And for me, I would like for people to understand that in this story, you are the main character. Okay. It's not Kim Kardashian. It's not Kylie Jenner, and it's not Jennifer Lopez. You are the main character.
Might be Jennifer Lopez.
So, okay, fine. She can be the understudy.
Yeah, exactly.
But what happens is your appearance, this is you taking care of the physical aspect of your life. And I believe that that's the start, because what happens after that is now you have to start taking care of the mental aspect of your life, the spiritual aspect. And overall, all of a sudden you're now just taking care of yourself. And it starts with taking care of your appearance. It starts there. So it's not vanity. It's more so a start of building the best main character of your story.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be the main character.
I love that.
Exactly.
Also, advice to like other budding entrepreneurs who are either they have started something or they're considering, like, how do you maintain focus and drive? Because I know your ups and downs, and like you've been through a lot, and you just do not stop. Like you just you don't give up. And I know, and you've been through like some really hard things, and with business wise. And so it's like, what advice would you give to those entrepreneurs?
relentless, right, Molly?
Yes.
Like super relentless.
Yes.
Well, like Molly said, I have been through so much, to a point where at one point I was living in a basement.
With no windows. With no windows.
No one knew. No
Yeah.
one knew. None of the clients knew that I was living in a basement with no shower. If I wanted to shower, I would have to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I did this all for the dream. And why did I keep going? How did I keep going? How did I remain focused? It's because I have a purpose. The purpose, what you do is literally the destination, right? So you could have a car, you could have gas or electric, whatever your preference is. You can have a navigation system, but if you don't have a destination, you will always be floating.
Yeah.
And without a purpose, you can't make a decision. What kind of entrepreneur can't make a decision? You know what I mean? So after all these years of going through so much, including the pandemic, where I almost lost almost everything. And I actually sat myself down and I had a meeting with Jaylee, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, girl, what are we gonna do? Because this ain't it.
Wait, Jaylee, we did an episode on this. Remember I told you?
Oh my God.
We did an episode where we referenced we referenced your theory on like you sit down and have talks with the different versions of yourself.
Oh yeah,
and
totally.
we did an episode on that. Alyssa's like, wait, is this that?
Oh my God, I promise I'm normal, Alyssa.
No, it was the most amazing thing.
Yes.
That was like, I love it. It's revolutionary.
I know.
Right? Yeah, I mean, like I have the best meetings with myself. But yeah, we had a conversation, all right? And, I was at the point of breaking down because I'm at the point of losing everything. And if I do lose everything, then I would have to go back home and I have to start my life all over again. Or should I hop on a 9-to-5?
Yeah.
And just, try to make sense of this whole thing. And after, having a conversation with myself, the most important person in my story, like I said, right? There was no option. There was no option but to continue with the purpose. I didn't really have a choice. This life chose me, ladies. Like, I didn't choose this life, really.
Oh, we know. We hear you.
It's way easier to be like, okay, let me pack up and just collect a check. Mm-hmm. That's so easy. Yeah. But the purpose and, what I've witnessed as a child, the importance of beauty, the importance of taking care of yourself, the importance of providing confidence for women and how that affects other people and how this makes the world a better place. I could not stop. No pandemic could stop me. Not living in a basement, not being completely broke could stop me. Yeah. This needs to happen.
It really gives me chills because I've known you through all of that. And the way that you feel about that is how I feel about my music. And I know, and like you feel that way about your craft. And it's like, there is no option. It's not like, oh, what's my other option? It's always just, what do I do next? How do I get through this? And I mean, I have a lot of admiration for you for just like your relentlessness.
Yeah, thank you.
And then
it's
oh yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, with regards to continuing and moving forward always, I strongly suggest that anyone who's going to be coming into this industry or any industry, and you decide to commit to something, to wake up every morning and remind yourself what your purpose is and align yourself with that purpose, because then therefore you cannot make a decision that doesn't coincide with that vision and that purpose.
Right.
And that keeps you going, and you will always be on track if you remember that purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh.
I wanted to, my last question for you is, if you ever have a daughter in the future, what would you want her to know about beauty rituals, and how would you allow her the space to decide what that means for her? Because just the way that you're like, I was very shaped by the fact that my mom doesn't have one. Like, she doesn't really care about those things. And then you also as a daughter, if my mom owned a beauty club, like you could be shaped that way too. And like what would your advice be to her, or what would you want her to know about beauty rituals? And then how would you allow her to find that for herself?
Well, what's funny? When you said that, I literally had a vision in my head, because the best way I could explain this to her is to have her at the Haven Beauty Club and witness it for herself.
Yeah.
Because Molly, when you come in and you walk in through those doors and we have our awesome, profound conversations, cool. But then when you open your eyes, you're like, oh, right, she's back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's back? Right? It's you. She's me. Feeling herself. Right.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. And yeah, imagine seeing that every day, multiple times a day. She would witness firsthand what beauty services or what beauty routines do for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's up to her to decide from that moment onwards.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I do want to say too, I think that not just daughters, but little boys too should be aware of that. I feel like it's frowned upon. Like for some reason, men think so. I don't know why they belittle men who get their nails done. By the way, the Haven Beauty Club has a lot of male clients. They do nails, they get waxed or whatever. And it's funny because sometimes some of them are super proud of it. So they'll post me and tag me and stuff. And then some of them are like really hush hush, or they want to be in the back while I'm giving them their service. And I think it has something to do with the fact that they were raised in an environment where you're not supposed to maintain yourself. You're supposed to be dirty,
Supposed to be rough.
You're supposed to be manly.
That's
an instance where the patriarchy is damaging to men as well, even though they are the ones, on top, but they're hurt by it too, because I'm sorry, do we not all have bodies? And taking care of your body is like, men don't just not have bodies. Men have nails. Men have skin.
Do you know they don't wash their ass? I found that out recently. A lot of men don't fucking wash their asses.
Wait, how did you, who?
It's not my it's not my man. It's not my man. That's all I know. But I know.
You know what I found out in aesthetic school is that when they tested beards, they found shit.
Oh.
They found shit. Shit particles in their beards, ladies. What is going on? I can't let this happen.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Like about every man I know that has a beard, I'm just gonna be like, shave it off right now, you motherfucker.
A man
6
who
feet,
like
please. 6 feet.
6 COVID.
Yeah, seriously.
But honestly, like a man who is confident enough in who he is to take care of himself, whether it's like beard oil, a skincare routine, like getting your nail, that's sexy. Like that's attractive because you care about yourself. It doesn't mean you're like, I hate it when women shame men also. Like women shame women about beauty routines, but also like he takes longer to get ready than that. Like I know there's excessive situations, but overall, like, okay, like if my man comes out of the room with a face mask on, I'm like, oh, my heart just melted.
Or if he comes out with like a fresh fit and like everything, I'm like, great. It's only gonna make you look better. Like, damn.
Right.
Exactly. He's my accessory, is what he is. Yeah. But we also have to remember that men have insecurities too. So as much as women need these beauty services or need beauty routines to feel confident, to feel better about themselves, or to change their perspective of themselves, men need that too.
Of course.
That's a whole other thing, honestly.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Preach.
What would you, I know you have a special offer for our listeners. And would you like to share what that is?
Okay, so our special offer, you will find out when you text SOS to our text line, which is 657-222-3611. And when you send SOS, we will send you all the promos for all the different services that we provide, heavily discounted, just because we love the girls.
You are the best. And will you list the services for people?
Oh, really? Do you have the time?
I'm testing. I know I'm testing you.
I think it's easier to be like, what don't you guys do?
Exactly. Everything you could possibly think of, we most likely provided.
Yes. But yeah, it's like it's nails,
Therapy?
eyelashes, basically.
Oh yeah, beauty therapy for sure.
Therapy, waxing. You do facials, you do spray tans, you do something called body cavitation, which I hadn't ever heard of, and it sounds gross, but it sounds amazing. The name sounds
it's
gross.
It's actually super amazing, and
Yeah.
that really builds
what is
women's
that?
confidence. Ultrasonic body cavitation is when we use ultrasound wavelengths. And it sends vibrations throughout the body. So then you end up hearing things in your ears that we can't hear, only you can hear. And basically the stubborn fat cells, we kind of break the outer layer. And so it just liquefies. And then we push it towards the lymphatic drainage system. And then you just excrete it out.
Oh, I see. That's interesting.
Wow. Does that have anything to do with, because I see that on TikTok a lot of like the girls in the
gua
sha and doing that.
Yeah.
And doing that. I don't know, it has a
yeah,
vibration.
that totally works too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but that doesn't
lymphatic.
have like
like a
the
mini version.
wavelengths and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that definitely pushes the toxins towards the lymphatic drainage system. So you do get the toxins or anything that's stuck there. It'll lessen. Yeah. But for the most part, women constantly think that they come for specific services, but really they come for therapy. I'm going to be real about that. There was a time I had one of our best techs. She's the best, but our client kept coming every week. And to a point where my client's eyes are closed, right? And so my tech was just staring at me and she was just like touching her lashes. And I was like, and she was just like, there's nothing for me to do, is basically what she's saying. And then my client stays for like another half hour, we're in the front talking. And then so she leaves and I'm like, Yuki, like, what were you saying? And then she was like, there's nothing for me to do. Her lashes are perfect. She's coming here to talk to you.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Wow. Yeah. Yuki was really good. I remember Yuki.
Yuki was bomb. Yuki was for sure.
That's so funny though. It's like, it really is that's why I like the Haven Beauty Club, because it's like a whole community for women and a kind of a sanctuary for, and men, obviously. I keep saying women, but I know it's men too, but it's like showing up and then it's just like, I might not even think I have anything to talk about. And it's just like an hour. And then by the end of the hour and a half, you and I have just like downloaded, like I've had a whole existential, like, oh my God, all these epiphanies.
Too many epiphanies in 1 hour.
Yeah.
But that makes sense.
Honestly.
It makes so much sense in a safe space like your beauty club where there's like-minded women, men that are there doing something revolutionary, expressing themselves, changing, like you said, changing the perspective of themselves that they might not have had otherwise. It's a beautiful thing. So it makes sense that therapy comes so naturally because you just want to get to know everybody.
I know.
It's great.
Exactly. It's so funny because there are times when, an attorney will be getting her lashes done right next to another attorney, and then they're like talking with their eyes closed, but they're like trying to feel for somebody,
That's
and they're like,
hilarious.
oh, do you know this attorney? Do you know that attorney? and then it starts the conversation starts transitioning to something, rated R.
Right.
And then it just, you don't know where the conversations go at the Haven Beauty Club. It just happens because we're all there for the same reason. And we're all there to build each other up.
And people can let their like professionalism down or their guard
hair down, literally, figuratively.
Yes. I know too much, honestly.
I know. Literally, like,
I literally know way too many secrets.
It's why your hair is so shiny. It's full of secrets.
Exactly. It's full of secrets.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Jaylee. I can't thank you enough. This was wonderful.
I love it.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so proud of you. And I really encourage our listeners to text SOS to the hotline number, which we will put in our show notes and we'll put it on our Instagram as well. For their discounts and services. Give it to your man too, because men have nails and skin too.
Exactly. Don't forget the men.
I know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. Really important conversation to be had, I think.
I love her so much.
I know. She's really sweet. She cracks me up because in like 2 seconds she's really goofy and like giggly and then 2 seconds later in our conversation we're talking about really, really deep things. And then 5 minutes after that, we're like giggling over something stupid again. And it's like, you can see that when you talk, she just has a warmth about her, but she just easily vacillates between like moods. And I mean, that's why she's so good at what she does.
Yeah. And if you like everything you heard today, you're going to want to go, not walk, run to the Haven Beauty Club.
Yes.
And
book
if
your
you're
service.
And yeah, if you're still here, we have a little treat for you. Well, you already heard part of the treat, but we're going to repeat the treat to you.
Yes. Repeat the treat.
Repeat the treat.
Okay. So, SOS listeners, if you text SOS to the Haven Beauty Club's hotline, you will get steep discounts. You will be sent. What am I trying to say? You'll be sent discounts for all the services that they provide. And so the hotline number, text SOS to 657-222-3611. And we will put that on our Instagram. We'll blast that everywhere. And you will receive steeply discounted beauty services. And I highly recommend you use it. You pass it on to people you know. They're located downtown Los Angeles. So just keep that in mind. And seriously, like, bring your boyfriends, bring your best friends, bring your daughters, sons, whatever.
Take care of you. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Speaking of treating yourself, join our Patreon.
Yes.
Because we have some juicy bonus content, bonus episodes. We have merch, exclusive merch, handwritten notes, with ability for a Q&A.
Yes.
We have Q&A. We have, you can like choose some topics if you're like, I want to hear what they have to say about this. Well, you're going to hear it.
Episode topics. Well, there you go.
And shout out to Steve and Nija for being OG patrons. We love ya. And follow us at follow us at the SOS Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Follow us, subscribe to us rather on YouTube, SOS with Molly and Alyssa. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, anywhere you find your podcast, you're going to find us, and rate and review us because it helps us reach more people.
It does. And I'm Molly Cottrell.
And I'm Alyssa Rosano.
Here's to turning meltdowns
the magic.